se cha namo, Vruddhaya cha samruddhvane cha namo, Agriyaya cha pratamaya cha nama, Ashave cha jiraya cha nama.
Hello, everybody. Warm welcome and wishing you blessings and auspicious tidings for this Mahashivratri session. This is going to be a practice session. And even though there will be a few teachings shared, I invite you to immediately shift from the head to the heart to the being, because it's not just about learning theories, it's about application and using the special energies of tonight, Mahashivratri. Everything is more accelerated and more potent. So my intention is that may I be a clear channel of these energies and these teachings. And it's always an interplay. So it's not just my intention, it's your intention as well. So the clearer I am and the more receptive you are, the more transparent I am, the more willing you are to receive whatever wants to come through, then this can have a very limitless benefit. So I invite all of us to be here wholeheartedly. A simple way to do that is to be free from distractions as far as possible. So don't multitask. Shiva wants you for tonight. So just be the only food on the platter so he can eat you up whole. And yeah, so want us to be wholehearted, because the more wholehearted you are, like I've noticed this from years of sharing, that it's really not just what I want to share, it's an interplay. So when the asking is very deep, then the sharing also goes very deep. The asking is shallow, the sharing is also shallow. In the beginning, I used to criticize myself and say, hey, you know, why am I not doing such a good job today? Then I realized it's not just me. It's the entire, what do you call it? Energy field. So I'd like us to start with a couple of minutes of silence. Just be quiet and tune in. The most simple and basic practice you can do is to empty yourself, empty yourself, empty yourself. Open yourself. Empty yourself of yourself. Let's make some powerful intentions. I'll start and then you can add to it. So everyone, everywhere who's practicing tonight, across time zones, across geographies, everyone, everywhere who's sincerely practicing to raise their consciousness, to align with the pristine consciousness of Param Shiva. May all of us benefit from this collective practice, not just limited to those on this call, live or recorded, across space and across time. We are all one Sangha practicing together. So all the sadhakas and all the sadhus and all the saints, all the liberated ones, all the aspirants, everyone, even if they just have a moment of thought of Shiva and of wanting to elevate their life, then may all of that practice come together, and may we all benefit from this collective consciousness field, energy field. Also, may we be quite open, quite innocent, quite humble, quite receptive. Some of you have studied Shiva's Shivism and Shiva teachings around Lord Shiva for a long time, and some of you are very new to this. And it doesn't matter. Let's all be innocent. Let's all be humble. Let's not get caught up in concepts. The point of concepts actually is to take us beyond concepts. So let's look at the moon and not the finger that's pointing at the moon. Also, may this session deeply nourish us. Let us drink deep from the nectar that nourishes our innermost being. They say that this is the night where a lot of nectar is falling. And let's really take it in, take it in, take it in, all the way in, nourishing us for a long, long time and beyond time. Irrespective of what teaching is shared, what practice is done, may each one of us get exactly what we need, in exactly the dose that we need. So nothing is in excess and nothing is less. You get exactly what you need. And may we feel super supported, super safe, surrounded by our ancestors, guardians, teachers, guides, all forces of dharma and righteousness, supported by Shiva and Shakti. So even if this experience goes deeper than you expect or challenges you in some ways, just know that you're fully safe, fully supported. And even radical shifts in consciousness will happen in a way that is only beneficial for you. Only beneficial for you and your entire stream of consciousness. May every word, every phrase, every sentence, every single thing that's done and said be guided by none other than Shiva himself and articulated by none other than Shakti herself, with the purpose of awakening our inner Shiva, recognizing Shakti, pure power, in its truest form. May whatever is going on in our life, pleasant, unpleasant, wholesome, unwholesome, skillful, unskillful, some things are clear, some things are confusing, some things are flowing, some things are stuck. May all of this turn out to be the precise medicine we need for our transcendence, for our awakening. May the poison be the medicine. May this mud of our life yield the divine lotus. Nothing's out of place. May we touch that consciousness where we really see nothing's out of place. Even the parts of my life I wish never happened. Actually, indispensable. May this insight truly dawn so we stop resisting and wishing our life was different than the way it was, and therefore projecting into the future, hoping this doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. Free from all of this. Truly in a state of surrender, truly in a state of grace. And even if, in the rare chance that something is said or offered that is not in alignment with the highest, the ultimate truth, then may your brain still process it in a way that is in alignment with the highest. Even if there's a misinterpretation or a misunderstanding, that too will accelerate your awakening. May you truly enjoy this practice with a great joy in tapasya, with a great joy in striving, a great joy in reaching beyond what we currently know and understand. Some of what will be shared today will be hard to grasp, make you think, what is that? Didn't get it. And I want you to relax around that. Relax around that, because a big part of tonight is recognizing the limitations of our logical, rational thinking mind and start reaching into higher levels of consciousness where opposites can coexist. Even things that don't normally make sense can be completely true. So letting go of the need to understand everything immediately, relaxing into it, letting things flow over us, even if we don't fully understand. And may tonight's practice be so auspicious, so wholesome, so powerful, so potent, so purifying, so deep, that it completely closes off any likelihood of a life and a death in ignorance, which means the rest of your life will be guided by awareness. When this human lifetime comes to an end, the potency, the power, the purity of this practice will lead you on into the most auspicious states. Either complete kaivalya, quenching, or only the most auspicious possible proceedings, taking you straight back into the heart of Shiva. May that be the power, beauty, and potency of tonight. And may it happen in a very natural way, organic way. May it not feel forced or rushed. Because in a way, everything that's being said, it's not like we're hoping it'll happen. It's already so. Tathastu. It's already done. All these intentions are already so. So there's no anxiety, there's no tension. Go ahead and offer a few more intentions. You can offer them in your heart, or if you feel like typing them out, you can do that. Take another 2 or 3 minutes to make your own intentions, or listen in to the intentions that are coming through you. Mayurma for a divine session. Mayurma means infinite love. Operating from the frequency of love and faith. Tathastu. Peace all over the world. Tathastu. May everyone be blessed with strength and grace through this joyous journey of life. And so it is. May we all find our way back to the divine. Intention is not to hurt any living beings. May our Sangha be one with Shiva consciousness tonight and forever. Boom. Tathastu for everyone's intentions and wishes. It's my father's birthday. May the rest of his life be as auspicious and blessed as this beautiful and auspicious night. And also may everyone everywhere be blessed and protected. Clarity to the confused, innocent mind, questioning spiral nature of human experiences. Divine will prevails, and may we all live a peaceful and grateful life. Good. So this and all other intentions, may they be so. I'm going to be doing a few practices and a few readings. So I want to start with this particular book. It's called Consciousness is Everything. As I find it. Let's have a little reading. The goal of the philosophy and yoga of Kashmir Shaivism is lofty. Abhinav Gupta tells us it is liberation of all beings in their lifetime. Beings who have become entitled to this knowledge of the Absolute by the excellent descent of Divine Shakti. This liberation consists of penetration of the essential nature of Bhairava with complete identity, Samavesha, and union of the perfect eye consciousness, the delightful flash of one's own essential self. A liberated one regards the entire multitude of created objects, not as a bondage, but merely as different aspects of his own sportfulness and the expressions of the abundance of his own delight. So this is one thing you'd find about Shaivism, especially Kashmir Shaivism. It's a very joyous path. There is no tension about even getting enlightened. And one of the great saints of Kashmir Shaivism, Gorakhnath, said, when he was asked about what is his teaching, what is his practice, he said, Hasiba, Kheliba, Dhariba Dhyanam. What does it mean? I shall laugh, I shall play, I shall meditate. What a great philosophy. So it's a pretty playful philosophy. Why? Because this is all Shiva sport. All of this is Shiva's wish. Liberation involves a decisive movement towards the center of our being. We have seen that as we move from gross to subtle, we get closer to the truth. And as we go up the tattvas, we are moving inward. We leave behind the appearances and experience what lies underneath. Gross language resolves into mantra and finally into meaning itself. Language becomes more truth-bearing as it goes inward. Every conversation contains what is said, and underneath that, what is meant and what is felt. Every contradiction we experience within ourselves can be investigated and resolved, first into its causes, and then beyond that, into peace and bliss. For as we approach truth, we also approach bliss. Chit and Ananda are essential aspects of the self. Two aspects of the Spanda principle, the subject and the object. Of these two, the object decays, but the subject is imperishable. This is a very important teaching, subject and object. So right now in front of me is my laptop. So my laptop is an object. And my object, no matter how up-to-date my laptop is, it's going to start to decay. The program, the software, the computer itself. I'm noticing in my laptop, when I type N, I get two N's for some reason. So my laptop is decaying. This object is decaying. And no matter, as we all know, no matter how shiny the new laptop or the new gadget or the new whatever we get, it's a matter of time before it becomes old and it's no longer the same. So all subject, anything that you can see, the Buddha said, Vaya Dhamma Sankhara. Decay is the natural order of things. all conditioned things will subtly decay. So what is the Spandakarika saying? There is subject and there is object. Of these, the object decays, but the subject is imperishable. So next time you look in the mirror, do something powerful. When you're looking in the mirror, what you're seeing in the mirror is the object. The object is going to decay. So don't get disappointed. Don't book your next Botox appointment just yet, because that's going to decay. Right? But the subject is imperishable. So from where you're looking, the place from where you're looking, that has no age, because you can't see your own face. You don't have a face, you only have a space. Above your shoulders is a space, not a face. And that is the imperishable. This is Shiva right here, right in the middle of your experience is Shiva. Notice how everything you see around you can be described, right? Big and small, this color, this temperature, this weight, this solid, this soft, rough. You can describe it in millions of ways you can describe it. But where it all converges, all that you see, all that you hear, smell, taste, touch, where it converges, can you describe that? And you find you can't describe it. And which is why it is understandable when some of you say things like, yeah, I may be whatever, 30, 40, 50, 60, but inwardly, I don't feel like that. Inwardly, I feel like maybe 12 or 15 or 20. Or why? Usually those are the ages where you don't really feel much physical pain or any limitation, right? You can jump, you can do everything. So why do you inwardly feel like that? Because the subject is imperishable. The subject is ageless. The subject is timeless. So if you're caught up in the objects, then you will find life very depressing. Then you cannot honestly say Hasiba Khiliba. Then all you can do is Roiba. Kutiba, getting pissed by life. All you can do is cry. But essentially, the more you can realize that, oh, I'm the imperishable, I'm the imperishable, I'm the indestructible. Vajra, I'm the diamond-like nature. Right? So Gurdjieff said, remember yourself, hold on to the subject. So I don't want to get too detailed into this. Let's go forward a bit. Nice story here. Go back one page. The yogi performs self-inquiry. Gross language is resolved into subtle language. Gross physicality is resolved into the subtle. The universe is folded in on itself to discover Chitti at its center. But just here is a supreme Shaivite moment. Shiva himself has made the opposite journey from the self to the other, from subject to object, and from the one to the many, from the gross, from the subtle to the gross, from silence to the world, from consciousness to matter. So the Shaivite yogi hero joins him. He realizes the inner, and with it, consecrates the other. He transforms the material into the divine. He suffuses the gross with the Chit Ananda of the subtle. He lives in Shiva's garden, right in worldly life. So what's powerful about Kashmir Shaivism is they're not trying to get you to some otherworldly state. Relax right here. This is all Shiva's play. Shiva in his most expanded form is this world. When Shiva expands maximally, Shiva also contracts maximally. What does it mean? Shiva has expanded to become endless creation. And we have pebbles, and we have trees, and we have stars, and we have, sunglasses, and we have dentures, and we have everything, millions of things. But Shiva is also contracted. How is he contracted? Shiva has forgotten himself. The more he expands, the more he forgets himself. As I contemplated the sweep of these grand ideas while I was in Ganeshpuri, inquiry began to arise in me. When I felt an obstacle in my meditation, I would try to trace it back to its source and resolve it into consciousness. This book is called Consciousness is Everything, which is like a good summary of what Shaivism is talking about. During one period, I encountered a big obstacle. I felt a painful contraction. Late in the afternoon, after my ashram work was complete, I would bathe and then sit in the meditation hall and work on it. I focused on the feeling. It centered in my heart. There was a burning sensation and a feeling of spiritual dryness and emptiness. I inquired into it. I asked myself if this was a familiar feeling. Did I recognize the emotion? What was the underlying cause? Did it lie in the obscurity of my youth? Or had something recent happened that brought it about? Had my thoughts changed direction? After a few days of inquiry, I felt I had isolated the cause. It was enmity. I simply hated most of the other ashramites. Honest. Back in America, I had become expert in seeing ego everywhere. This was a vestige of that. I was looking with a jaundiced eye at every ashramite and seeing their secret motivations. This one only likes to feel important. This one is sucking up to be close to Baba. This one loves to hold power over others. This one is stupid and this one is lazy. Why was I so critical? Was I jealous? I tried to let the feeling speak to me and tell me its story, even suggest a solution. No matter how hard I worked, I couldn't get to the bottom of it. On this particular day, I gave up, left the meditation hall, and stood in front of Baba. This is Muktananda, his teacher is Muktananda. It was a beautiful time of day. The wife of the owner of the chai shop next door made idlis every evening for Baba to distribute. We went up one by one, and he firmly pressed half an idli into each of our hands. You could smell the perfume of his henna scent and the intense love of his immediate presence. As I watched the scene, new thoughts came to me. You are completely stupid. These are not horrible people. These are great souls. They have left their comfortable middle-class existence in the West to do austerities in search of the truth in an ashram in India. They have not only left their comforts, but their families, friends, and jobs. It is not they who are sinners. Your vision is skewed. Standing in front of Baba, I saw this very clearly. The ashramites were mostly people I would not be friendly with back in my old life. Yet, where were the people from my old life? Certainly not here. The one thing all of us in the ashram had in common was our dedication to the spiritual quest. These understandings came with great clarity, but I still was in misery. Nothing had shifted. In an inspired moment, I prayed inwardly, Baba, shift my vision. Let me see them with your eyes. Let me see their divinity. In that moment, the bell rang for the evening chant. Baba got up from his perch and hunched down to go through the little door into his apartment. And I was not what I had been a moment before. My awareness expanded. I moved quickly into the hall and began doing my evening duty of handing out the chanting books. Before my eyes, the ashramites had morphed into gods and goddesses. This was not conceptual, it was visionary. I was seeing it and feeling it. I was filled with bliss. I laughed to myself, how easy it all is. I had a experience once, several months back, where I had that similar kind of experience where I was seeing everyone as a kind of god. I think, oh my God, this is Rama. Oh my God, this is Ganesha. Oh my God, this is Hanuman. Oh my God, this is Mahaprabhu Babaji. And I was like, can't you others see it? Can't you see it? Can't you all see it? And I didn't try to tell these people, do you know who you are? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh my God, they don't see it. And how beautiful is that? So once in a while, it's nice for us to pierce the illusion and see the reality. Shaivism is the heart of the path. It is the embodiment of the rasa of love and the quality of wisdom. It is not disgusted with the world, though it concedes that disgust too. It's Shiva. It rejects nothing. It celebrates the essential divinity of life and of every person. It worships not only Shiva, the impersonal absolute, but also Shakti, the manifest universe, in all its variety and paradox. Shaivism tells us that beneath our mundane view of life lies a greater possibility. It tells us that beneath our dryness, our depression, barely hidden from our view, is another kind of experience of vast energy and abundant love. Shaivism does not tell us to reject the world and go to a mountain cave or a forest hermitage. It tells us to live a fully human life. But that includes profound meditation and reflection. For a life to be fully human, it must also be spiritual. The life of a Shiva yogi is a life of worship. He worships the world as a manifestation of Shakti. He unfolds the Shakti within himself. And Baba says, we should not regard our mundane life as different from Shakti. It is an aspect of the same Shakti we are trying to attain through meditation. The outer world is the external sport of Shakti. Yoga is the inner sport of Shakti. The two should not be looked upon as different from one another. Wherever you are, you will receive guidance from Shakti, because Shakti herself manifests in your worldly life. Let's go forward a bit. The great Shiva yogis wrote their works and gave their teachings in the spirit of blessing. At the end of their works, they reveal their motivation. Scripture says, Shakti Pat Eva Diksha. Only that initiation is the true initiation, which is accompanied by the descent of the grace of the Lord. Today's practice as well, I'm inviting the grace of the Lord. It is Shivratri. And even though we seem to be reading and having a somewhat light discussion, let it be completely saturated by the grace of the Lord. And a beautiful restructuring will happen as we go through this. Shema Raja says, whatever has been said in the text of Shiva, is Shiva, because it is a means to the attainment of Shiva. It is Shiva also, because it has come from Shiva, because it is not different from the true nature of Shiva, and because it is indeed Shiva. One fascinating paradigm is in the Shiva Sutras, you have Shiva talking to Parvati. And who is Shiva and who is Parvati? So Shiva is our awareness and Parvati is our mind. And as you know, your mind has got endless questions. So Parvati got lots of questions. And then that awareness calmly responds, quietly responds. Right? So Shiva and Shakti, it is not some big god and goddess. Also, it's also that. But in the most fundamental way, Shiva is awareness and Shakti is our intellectual mind. Asking. I had been searching for the broadest, most inclusive vision of life. I had found it in the Trika. What is Trika? Trika is Kashmir Shaivism. What is called Kashmir Shaivism today it calls itself Trika. The entire corpus of the teachings of Kashmir Shaivism is like the mantra received from a realized guru, infused with divine Shakti. It is the teaching transmitted from guru to disciple, and it cannot fail to awaken the student. Shema Raja says that the teaching is given for the welfare of all. And in that spirit, it is a teaching with no restrictions of sex, and caste, and race. It is the teaching that embraces all of life as the play of the divine and affirms that our divine self is not something new that we have to acquire, but something that we have always had that we must simply recognize. Many times over the years, I have heard seekers bear witness to the transforming power of Shaivism. One man told me how the sutras appeared to him in meditation as living entities and revealed their secrets to him. On one occasion, I recommended that one of my students memorize the Shiva Sutras to help her with her emotional problems. She worked hard at the memorization, not concerning herself too much with the meaning. She told me that the practice had been of immense help in her meditation. Now, when she finds her mind wandering, she simply repeats the sutras to herself, and they take her into deep states of meditation. I have noticed that while in the West, we shun rote knowledge and focus on the essence and the meaning of things. In India, there is no such bias. Indian students are taught to memorize sutras and chunks of scripture, then are drilled on them with little concern for the meaning. You know, I met a Sanskrit scholar. This is a lady from England. She was so keen to learn Sanskrit. She came to India, but nobody would teach her for two reasons. One is she's not Indian, and second, she's a woman. So it took her a long time to find a guru. But once she found a guru, she was so dedicated, and she's now a PhD in Sanskrit. So I asked her about how come you were so interested in learning the Sanskrit language. So she right immediately said, "It's not a language." I said, "It's not a language. What is it if it's not a language?" She said, "It's a technology." I said, "What do you mean by that?" So she said, "Sanskrit is a technology of awakening." And so this whole thing about meaning, which we are so fascinated by, this is the most corrupted form of Sanskrit. In its fundamental sense, Sanskrit is the understanding of how vibration unlocks you. The science of vibration and consciousness. Spanda, vibration and consciousness. So in its essential state, the mantra itself, the word itself liberates. Why? That is the power of the vibration. The vibration awakens the sleeper, awakens the dreamer. Right? So these are some ways in which we have to dehypnotize ourselves. We have put too much of emphasis on the intellect. Meaning, rote learning is very bad. Meaning is very good. But what meaning have you understood? Deeper than thinking is feeling, and deeper than feeling is being. So in that sense, chanting, and you probably, all of you have at some point chanted something, or at least been in a place where people were chanting. You felt the vibration of that. You felt it took you to a certain place. Yet another student told me that she had been awakened with a start during the night and had a mild panic attack. To calm herself, she told me that she contemplated Shaivism. Not, she said, specific sutra or the concept, but Shaivism as a whole. It reminded me of Shiva. Shiva Sutra 1.3. The secret of mantra is the being of the body of knowledge. Vidya is knowledge, Sharira is body, and Satta is being. I have always felt this phrase referred to Shaivism itself, just as the mantra is considered to be the sound body of God. How beautiful is that? Mantra is the sound body of God, the divine incarnated as word. So Shaivism as a whole is a deity, the divine wisdom body of knowledge. As such, it can be entered anywhere. It can never be exhausted. It yields a feeling of richness, Shakti, and upliftment. Shaivism is part of the grace-bestowing power of Shiva. Two of Shiva's 5 processes are concealment and grace, and things in the universe tend to move towards one or the other. Among instruments of grace in this world, there are few as luminous as Shaivism. This then is the promise of Kashmir Shaivism. Even when we approach it in the manner of a Western intellectual curiosity or scholarly or philosophical interest, it still has its own energy. Kashmir Shaivism, like the other great yogic philosophies, is not fundamentally an intellectual system, but one that has sprung from the direct visionary experience of the sages. It begins in that experience, and its goal is that experience. So even though in a while I'm going to be reading some of the Shiva Sutras, don't get lost in the meanings. Go to the essence. It's here to point to something, right? Kashmir Shaivism is a saving knowledge. It'll have its effect on your inner being. When I first encountered these teachings, I'll tell you my own experience before I go to his. I was in Korea and I met a practitioner of Kashmir Shaivism. I never even heard of Kashmir. Or maybe I'd heard of it, but I didn't know much about it. And so I asked him, what is this Kashmir Shaivism about? What do you believe? So he said, we believe everything is Shiva. All right. So everything is Shiva. And what else do you believe? We believe there's no Maya. One big part of Indian philosophy is Maya. What is Maya? Maya is the covering. It's the concealment. It's the illusion. It's the dream. So there is Maya, there is the illusion, and then there is beyond that is Brahman, the reality. So Kashmir Shaivism, he says, no, we don't believe in Maya. We don't believe in Maya. There's no Maya. There's no Maya. So then what is all of this? It's all Shiva. So right now what's happening? Right now Shiva is talking to Shiva. I said, that's amazing. I said, then what are you supposed to do? And what is left to be done then if everything is Shiva? So I loved his answer. He said, be spontaneous and enjoy. So be spontaneous and enjoy. The only thing left to do, hasiba, kheliba, dhariba, dhyana. What an amazing philosophy that says be spontaneous and enjoy. You can't get this wrong. Have you heard that famous quote by Master Ugwe from Kung Fu Panda? One encounters one's destiny on the path one takes to avoid it. You can try to dodge Shiva, but you're going to meet Shiva there anyway. Right? So when I first encountered these teachings in the words of my guru, I was thrilled by their clarity and relevance. I felt sure that they would speak directly to the mind and heart of the Western world. Finally, after many years of deep involvement and appreciation of this path, I have written this book to inspire aspirants. I do recommend this book. There are many books on Kashmir Shaivism. Most of them are quite hard to understand. This one is a particularly good one. It's called Consciousness is Everything. I'll show you the cover in a bit. Surely it is only the dawning of this knowledge. In my younger days, I was in the world of scholarship. I left that world to seek a higher truth. Today, most of the students of Kashmir Shaivism are scholars. They are learned in the Sanskrit and take great pains to analyze every nuance of doctrine. I am no Sanskritist, and in this phase of my life, I can make no claims as a scholar. My one advantage is to have imbibed the living spirit of Shaivism from one who radiated it through every cell of his body. Substituting Muktananda for Somananda, I can say with Abhinav Gupta. Abhinav Gupta was a great genius of India. It's unfortunate that very few of us have heard of his name. He's one of the massive brains and geniuses of India. He's the one who has made a compendium of what was before that all an oral tradition, and he compelled it to the Tantra Loka. So really, it's a huge encyclopedic amount of knowledge, which he did. So he was like one of the polymaths, highly skilled in many fields. I have written this work after fully reflecting on the doctrine of Somananda, which spontaneously entered my heart, which shares that pure state of truth taught by my Guru. And I join Shema Raja in giving this blessing to all. May you all cross quickly the ocean of transmigratory existence and be established firmly in the highest state of eternal light and delight. Ponder deeply over these sutras enunciated by Shiva, radiant with mystic truth, taught by an excellent Guru. They shine forth vigorously and joyfully enlighten the inner understanding. Shiva Sutras, get ready for this. I want you to, should we start a little easier? Let's start a little easier. I'll go to something easier when we come to Shiva Sutra in a bit. So start with these powerful statements, all right? You can either, I'm going to say them slowly. I want you to feel them inside of you. If you want to repeat them in your heart, you can. Everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Consciousness is the dearest, most healing and desirable thing. Consciousness is the dearest, most healing, and most desirable thing. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. Every thought and feeling, even my blocks are Shiva. Every thought and feeling, even my blocks are Shiva. Wherever the mind goes is Shiva. Now what further meditation instruction do you need? Because wherever mind goes is Shiva. Best of luck getting away from Shiva. The whole world is inside my own awareness. The whole world is inside my own awareness. My thought forms create my experience of life. My thought forms create my experience of life. Right? This is manifestation right here. My thought forms create my experience of life. This universe is Shiva's grace. This universe is Shiva's grace. This universe is Shiva's grace. This universe is drenched in love. This universe is drenched in love. This universe is drenched in love. And if you don't agree with that, I would just say that you may have to expand your idea of love a little bit. It may not match what your personality loves. There is no distinction between worldly and spiritual. There is no distinction between worldly and spiritual. This is a nice one. There is absolutely no problem. But some of you will say, but I've got many problems. And then we will again say, and that is also not a problem. There is absolutely no problem. There is absolutely no problem. There is nothing outside of consciousness. Best of luck finding anything outside of consciousness. I am Shiva, and my mind, senses, and emotions are Shaktis. I am Shiva, and my mind, senses, and emotions are Shaktis. What is the goal of our path? The goal of this path is Shiva and Shakti are one. So when you realize that Your consciousness and whatever arises in your consciousness are not separate. That's when you pierce the illusion. Every other person is Shiva too. The form of consciousness never changes. You see, how will you be able to get upset with anyone when you realize that every other person is Shiva too? That's also Shiva, that's also Shiva, that's also Shiva. All these people are Shiva in their universe. Wow. All these people are Shiva in their universe. You realize we all are living in our own universe? We may seem to be on the same Zoom call, but we're all in totally different planets, totally different universes. We appear to be inhabiting the same world, but we're not inhabiting the same world. We're inhabiting entirely different worlds. And what are these worlds? We are all Shivas in our own universe. There is no obstruction to Shiva anywhere. Nothing veils Shiva. This is what I said a while back. There is no Maya. Nothing veils Shiva. He is apparent. There is no Maya. It's all Shiva. All my feelings are permutations of bliss. What a good one. All my feelings are permutations of bliss. All my feelings are permutations of bliss. Worth memorizing. All my feelings are permutations of bliss. Whatever gives me peace or satisfaction shows me Shiva. Whatever gives me peace or satisfaction shows me Shiva. My mind does not exist. You'll say, what are you talking about? Of course it exists. I'll say, show me your mind. Oh my, can't find it. My mind does not exist. I am everywhere. There is no bondage and there is no liberation. Everything is perfect as it is. Everything is perfect as it is. A nice way of saying it is, everything is perfect, including your desire to improve it. That's also perfect. Everything is perfect, including your disbelief that everything is perfect. That's also perfect. Shiva's grace is the only thing I need. Everything is going according to Shiva's plan. Oh Shiva, give me your grace. Oh Shakti, oh Mother, be kind to me. Oh Shiva, give me your grace. Oh Shakti, oh Mother, be kind to me. Oh Shiva, give me your grace. Oh Shakti, oh Mother, be kind to me. Open my heart completely to the experience of Shiva. Right now, exactly as I am Shiva. Somebody sent me a private message. How are Buddha and Shiva connected? They're not connected, they're one. Shiva and Buddha are one. You think that they're not one, you have not understood. Shiva Sutras. Don't try to understand, just hear it. Just let these words wash over you. The self is consciousness. Limited knowledge is bondage. Maya, with its associated principles and color, which gives origin to bodies and worlds, are bondage. The letters of the alphabet from to Ch are the basis of limited knowledge. The sudden flash of divine consciousness is the Lord, Bhairava, Shiva. The destruction of the universe takes place through meditation on the group of Shaktis, powers. The bliss of Turiya, the fourth state of consciousness, arises even during the different states of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. The waking state is a perception. It is the state in which self is in direct contact with the objective world. The waking state is perception. The dream state is mental activity. Its contents consist of the mental processes which occur in isolation from the objective world. The deep sleep state is the inability to discriminate, which is caused by the power of illusion. This state is characterized by the absence of perception, since the knowing faculty has ceased to function. The Supreme Lord Shiva is the witness or the enjoyer of the three states of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. So if you thought all this time that you were waking up and you were dreaming and you were in deep sleep, the Shiva Sutra says, no, it's not you, it's Shiva. It's Shiva. Your innermost essence is not your name. Your innermost essence is Shiva. What is Shiva? Pure consciousness. The different stages attained in the course of yogic path, yogic practice, are filled with wonder. How beautiful. The power of will is the maiden Uma. The objective world around such a yogi appears to him as his own body. If you can practice seeing the whole universe as your body, you'll very quickly get enlightened. Practice seeing the whole universe as your body, even for a micro moment. It's not that hard because you're breathing air, you're eating food, drinking water, dependent on the sun, dependent on the moon. And the sun and the moon are dependent on other things. You see, the objective world is your own body. When the mind becomes united with the heart, one sees everything as a form of consciousness. Let's make it more practical. Notice what you're feeling now. Any emotional state. Could be pleasant or unpleasant. And give it one word. So for example, I am happy. I am sad. I am angry. I am afraid. I am bored. I am confused. So give it one word. I am dash. I am apprehensive. I am tired. Could be anything. Give us one word. I am dash. Once you've said that, feel what it feels like to be that. Come into direct contact with your present experience. And now shift the statement to I feel dash. So if earlier you said I am tired, now you say I feel tired. If you said I am happy, now you'll say I feel happy. Notice what happens when you shift from I am dash to I feel dash. Something shifts when we say I am dash and I feel dash. So for example, I am anxious, I feel anxious. There's a difference. Next one is I'm aware of feeling dash. For example, I'm aware of feeling tired, or I'm aware of feeling anxious. I'm aware of feeling happy. Notice what happens when you say this. I'm aware of feeling dash. Be in touch with the direct experience. For example, I am anxious. I feel anxious. I'm aware of feeling anxious. I am peaceful. I feel peaceful. I'm aware of feeling peaceful. And touch your direct experience. Go beyond the words into experience. Next statement, dash is welcome. So for example, anxiety is welcome. Peace is welcome. Tiredness is welcome. Whatever you're experiencing right now, dash is welcome. Finally, awareness and dash are not separate. For example, awareness and tiredness are not separate. Awareness and anxiety are not separate. Awareness and peace are not separate. Feel the non-separation. I am dash. I feel dash. I am aware of feeling dash. Dash is welcome. Awareness and dash are not separate. And I'd like to say that irrespective of what is going on in your life, peaceful home, unpeaceful home, good health, bad health, good financial situation, not such a good financial situation. Irrespective of whatever's going on in your life, what you've just learned is a clear gateway to freedom. So for example, someone says, Nitya, I'm very stressed. So-and-so is happening, very stressed. Oh, so follow the process. I am stressed. What does that feel like? Touch it. I feel stressed. What does that feel like? Touch it. I am aware of feeling stressed. You've come to a witnessing place now. Stress is welcome. You see, stress doesn't cause suffering. Resistance to stress causes suffering. Nothing can cause suffering except resistance to it. Everything's innocent. Why? Because everything's Shiva. Everything is a permutation of bliss. But you've gotten attached to only a few formulas. Can we untangle you a bit? This is also welcome. Why is this also welcome? Because today Shiva wants this permutation of bliss, not that permutation of bliss. So this is welcome. Stress is welcome. Stress is welcome? Yes, stress is welcome. Awareness and stress are not separate. Oh my, this stress was the good medicine that helped me wake up. This anxiety was the good medicine that helped me wake up. This whole universe is a big setup for me to wake up. It's never a problem. We pray to God to change our situation, not knowing the situation was given to change us, to break our pattern of clinging. Can you do the process one more time? I want you to memorize it. I'll say it one time, but then you go through it on your own, slowly. I am dash, and you can either go with the same statement or it may have changed by now. Could be pleasant or unpleasant, doesn't matter. Whatever your actual experience is. I am dash, then you'll pause for a bit. Then I feel dash, you'll pause for a bit and really feel it. I'm aware of feeling dash. Then again, you open up further and become aware. Dash is welcome. Awareness and dash are not separate. Can you do this on your own? Pausing between each statement. Om Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namah 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 Hasiba Kheliba Dhariba Dhyana. Everything is consciousness. Everything is Shiva. Even what appears as not Shiva is also Shiva. The consciousness is Shiva, and the mind and the senses and the world are Shakti. Shiva wants to merge with Shakti. Shiva wants to recognize himself, itself, in every thought, every feeling, every experience. It is Shiva himself, itself. And this very dense nectar is flowing down from the top of Shiva's head, down his long, long hair, down to the top of your head, down into your heart, your gut, your being. So very thick nectar is flowing down, nourishing your innermost being, activating, healing the rest of your being. And if you like, take a few deep breaths. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So at one level, this teaching is so straightforward, so simple, so eloquent. At the same time, our brain, our mind, our ego has a way of complicating things, getting stuck. I'm going to be reading you the common traps, the common ways in which you're going to get stuck and sidetracked. So notice which of these apply to you. Spaced out. Once you unhook your local awareness from thought and open to space, you will feel some relief and freedom from the chattering mind. This is a crucial step. However, space is not the final frontier. We do not want to remain as a detached, mindful witness or as disembodied pure awareness. While the first step is to discover that space is free of mental obsession, the next step is to discover that space is not absence. Space itself is aware. Space is not just an emptiness. Space itself is aware. It's called dazzling darkness. Dazzling darkness. we can then also discover the spacious awareness that is inherent within our body. So the first trap is to get lost in space, spaced out, space cadet, right? Instead, we realize that is space is not the fun. It's not just about getting spacey. Space itself is aware. So spaced out is one trap or one detour. Second one is in a way different but similar. From spaced out, the next one is blissed in. When you unhook local awareness and drop down below your neck, you will experience your subtle body as a return to your senses. This will be a pleasant state and is often experienced through practices like calm abiding, chanting, mantra, dancing, music, massage, exercise, or drugs. However, if you get stuck here, you will become a bliss ninny, or you'll be only hippie happy. While this experience of your subtle body or inner body presence is free of your mind, it is still bound by our skin and subtle energy body. The subtle energy body is not yet open to spacious awareness, nor the experience of interconnection with others. So be careful not to get blissed in. Don't get spaced out. Don't get blissed in. No harm having the bliss, but don't get stuck there. Right? Don't get stuck on. Don't be a bliss. What do you say? Bliss ninny. Third way we get trapped. Stuck in stillness. When local awareness unhooks from the mind and discovers inner stillness in the body, we can fall back to sleep into the pleasant effects of the luscious stillness. This experience, often discovered through long periods of sitting meditation, can be a detour because it has stillness, but does not have movement or awareness. See, any extreme, you've lost it. If it has stillness, but it does not have any movement or awareness, that's a kind of a detour. So don't even get stuck in the stillness. He calls the next one the Witness Protection Program. When you get caught in the initial stage of mindful observer or witnessing from spacious awareness and try to live from the meditative tower or the spacious sky, disconnected from the ocean of emotion. This mindful witness is a key step in your journey, but it is not the end goal. If you live as a detached witness, we will be free of threat, but we will miss community and we will miss the juiciness of life. Instead, for a fully embodied experience of wholeness, we can continue on our journey by returning from spacious awareness back to the boundless aliveness of open-hearted awareness. So don't get too stuck in the witness, open witness to being embodied. Getting bored, back to the mind. As we stabilize in greater levels of well-being, we will need to get used to being peaceful in our mind. The transition out of the frenetic activity of our mind at first may come as a relief, but at some point might start to feel like a bit of boredom. We are missing the level of excitement and drama that we used to have. Too peaceful in here. In this gap of not knowing, a part of us may feel that the peace we have been seeking feels unstimulating, dull, and boring. We might get bored back to the mind, seeking more excitement. Instead, we can be encouraged to wait in this lull for the natural curiosity, joy, and new knowing to appear from this place of peace. A different kind of excitement arises, like the way a kid feels on the first day of summer vacation. So don't get so bored with your peace, right? Don't get bored back into your mind. Next one, this is quite common in my experience. A lot of people have this. Getting scared back to the mind. The everyday mind has been our primary way of orienting ourselves for identity and safety. The small self that is created within the everyday mind operates like a computer that has been programmed to follow certain rules. Thought-free awake awareness is not included on the list of the everyday mind's approved programs. The everyday mind safety programs instead have the rules like orient yourself by thought, avoid the void, which may send the alerting program of the ego defenses into a panic. So when you shift out of your everyday mind, the ego defense program reacts as if it's protecting us from death, but it is actually just protecting us from a limited thought pattern. So if you do get scared back to the mind, begin to glimpse again. Glimpse what? Glimpse the unity of awareness and energy. Awareness and your experience. Glimpse after glimpse. There will be a period of adjustment and growth that includes some disorientation before reorientation. In the Zen tradition, they say, in the beginning, mountains are mountains, rivers are rivers. In the middle, mountains are not mountains, rivers are not rivers. This is the disorientation. In the end, mountains are mountains, rivers are rivers. 10-man awakening. Here we have a strong experience of emptiness and no self, but there's not much heart here. Here we've awakened from mind, body, and emotion, but we've not yet awakened into open-hearted awareness. Keep following the process. So it's not just about awakening your head, it's about awakening your heart. It's not just about awareness. It's about love. Cowardly lion awakening. Here we've learned to go beyond the doer. We've opened to new vulnerability, but we get stuck and we have not yet developed the courage of open-hearted awareness to be and act in this world. People at this stage sometimes become aggressive or a know-it-all persona, like a cowardly lion pompously chasing Toto. So the movie Wizard of Oz. But that action is coming from defensiveness, pride, and fear. Many people have reported a shift happens when they do their social justice work from a place of love and compassion rather than from anger and fear. Sauna meditation state. We get caught in a calm, relaxed, sleep-like state that is like a numb sauna meditation. Songki Rinpoche refers to this as stupid meditation. The goal of meditation is not to stop thoughts or just become very relaxed. This is an important first step, but awakening is alert, interconnected, creative, compassionate. So nice. This is a common one. Next one is very common. I like the way he said it. Loving the description, but not taking the prescription. Many people love the beautiful words in books and poetry and teachings, but have not found the courage or the commitment that are necessary for the journey. It is one thing to read the map and another one to experience the territory. Okay, a big one is spiritual bypass. Have you heard of spiritual bypass? Big one. John Wellwood points out this potential trap. There is a tendency to use spiritual practice to try to rise above our emotional and personal issues. All those messy, unresolved matters that weigh us down. This tendency to prematurely transcend our basic human needs, feelings, and developmental tasks is called spiritual bypassing. Using spiritual concepts to bypass your actual experience. There are many more. I'll just read the last one. Rubber band effect. Glimpses of awakening. The inertia of our habit of mind has a power that draws us back to the magnetic ego center. While our awakening path unfolds, as long as the unconditioned spacious awareness remains the only alternative to ego identity, then we have to come back to the ego in order to function. Since we can't live with a human being while remaining in a pure awake awareness only. So we'll experience losing it and having to return to ego identity in order to function, until form and formless are discovered to be not separate. So this is the journey from awakening to enlightenment, right? Awakening is when you have had a glimpse of your true nature, which is not limited to body and mind. And you have seen the unity of Shiva and Shakti. You've at least glimpsed it. Now, to fully embody it, that is enlightenment. So, the nice Zen teaching. First, wake up, then deal with your karma. So first you wake up, and then all your karmas will start. What are your karmas? Your predispositions, your tendencies. They'll start getting burnt up very, very, very quickly. Then you welcome that. You say, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Prarabdhaya samarpitam. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Whatever is left in this lifetime, whatever wax is left in this candle, let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. You welcome it because it's all merging back into that. So to summarize today's practice, anything you're experiencing, outside, inside, pleasant, unpleasant, gross or subtle, everything you're experiencing implies an experiencer, something that is knowing. That something that is knowing is called Shiva. Everything that you're experiencing is called Shakti. We are in bondage because we separate Shiva and Shakti, me and the world. We come out of bondage by realizing that they are not separate. Shakti depends on Shiva and Shiva depends on Shakti. Ardhanareshwara. Shiva and Shakti unite. The subject and object are seen as one. The mirror and reflection are seen as one. The sky and the cloud are seen as one. The TV and the TV movie is also seen as one. It's all seen as one. Right? That is when the illusion collapses. So for that, come back to the practice we described a little while back. Take whatever you're experiencing. I am dash. And this is a very practical practice. You can do this all the time. So I am whatever. Sad, energized, weak, tired, confused, upset, unsure. I am unsure. Oh, I'm unsure. I'm feeling unsure. I'm aware that I'm feeling unsure. Feeling unsure is welcome. Awareness and feeling unsure are not separate. And like this, whatever is coming up in your experience will become the fuel of your awakening. John Wellwood, some of you did my course recently, and John Wellwood also says similar thing with just different words. He says, acknowledge whatever is happening, acknowledge. Allow, which means don't try to fix it. Allow it. Don't try to change it. Allow it. Open. Open means soften the edges. Start getting really curious. Start coming to a place of wonder. Open yourself to it like a flower opens itself to a bee. Open yourself. Open. And finally enter. Go ahead and touch it. Take away this illusion that You're standing back watching this. Go ahead and touch that experience. So acknowledge what's happening, allow it, open to it, and enter it. And like this, in a very fundamental way, we are waking up within the dream, waking up within the dream, awakening the dreamer. I like how Nisargadatta Maharaj says that you cannot wake up from the dream. That would be another dream. You can wake up to the dream. If you wake up from the dream, you're going against Shiva's will. Because Shiva's will is that exactly this is happening. Whatever is happening in your life, this is Shiva's will. You know, when you pray, you think you're praying to some God in the sky. No. You're praying. You know who's listening to your prayer? You are listening to your prayer. Who is that you who's listening? That's Shiva. At the center of you is not you. The center of you is Shiva. So Shiva listens to every prayer. So every time you pray, Shiva listens to it. So don't pray. You know what the highest prayer is? That I want what you want. I find it very difficult. We'd gone to Pachmari, which is a great place with a lot of Shiva temples and very big. There's a big mountain with a Shiva temple. And when I went there, I couldn't pray. What am I supposed to pray? I want what you want. So if you want me to be ignorant, then I also want to be ignorant. If you want me to be enlightened, I'll be enlightened. If you want me to lose my way, then I want to lose my way. If you want me to quickly wake up, then I also want to quickly wake up. How beautiful is that? I want what you want. That's surrender right there. I want what you want. So it is not about waking up from the dream. That would be in opposition to Shiva. It is waking up to the dream. To the dream. Ah, this is Shiva. This is Shakti. This is the manifestation of Shiva. And Shiva and Shakti are not separate. So we don't wake up from the dream. We wake up to the dream. Beautiful. All right, I'm feeling pretty complete. Let's have a minute of silence. We'll end with the Kriya Yoga mantra. Just hear this beautiful mantra.
Deepang Jyoti Parabrahmang Deepang Sarvang Tamo Bhagang Deepanai Satyate Sarvang Nayare Deepang Namastute Kalai Deepang Namastute Uji Deepang Namastute Santhya Deepang Namastute Nishi Deepang Namastute Anbu Deepang Namastute Ahimsa Deepang Namastute Asana Deepang Namastute Prana Deepang Namastute Dhyana Deepang Namastute Jnana Deepang Namastute Mantra Deepang Namastute Bhakti Bhakti Deepang Namastute Babaji Deepang Namastute Annai Deepang Namastute Amman Deepang Namastute Yoga Deepang Namastute Om Kriya Babaji Namam Om Kriya Babaji Namam Om Kriya Babaji Namam.
So infinite blessings to each one of you. Thank you for joining me in today's practice. And may the merits that we have acquired from our earnest practice, sincere practice, open-hearted, open-minded, deep practice, may it illuminate our life and the lives of everyone we come in contact with. Like the Shiva Sutra says, we are the Shiva of our own universe, each one of us. We may not match what a Shiva normally looks like or behaves like, but the reality is that Shiva is infinitely creative. So we are also Shiva. The one who is having this experience is Shiva. You think it's you, but actually that's Shiva. At the core of your being is Shiva, and everything else is Shakti. And Shiva wants to merge with Shakti. And that is how the illusion is destroyed. But until then, let it do what it wants to do. You keep aligning yourself, aligning yourself, aligning yourself. May the rest of the night be deeply fulfilling night, saturating you with all the nectar, all the power, all the grace, all the blessings, all the infinite blessings, infinite joy, infinite peace, infinite wisdom, infinite insights, infinite clarity, infinite skillful means, infinite capacity to rise up to whatever comes up for you in your process. May you trust, may you surrender, may you have a deep sense of being held, being guided, being supported. May we share the merits of our practice tonight, all the accumulated punya with all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy and well. May all beings fully benefit from our practice. May all beings, known and unknown, seen and unseen, near and far, may all beings benefit from this. May areas in the world where there is conflict, may those areas calm down. May they be saturated by divine bliss, divine peace, divine healing. May areas in our own body and mind that are in conflict also be saturated with divine harmony, divine peace, divine love, divine grace, divine compassion. And let it all happen in divine timing, because all is well. Everything is unfolding according to Shiva's plan. Not a single atom is out of place. And even the belief that it is out of place is also not out of place. And that is the depth of the perfection of Shiva's dream. May this practice awaken the dreamer within the dream. Awaken the dreamer within the dream. Awaken the dreamer within the dream. And see your true face for what it is, beyond all qualities, all limitations, all time, all space, all descriptions, attributeless, coming from nothing, returning to nothing, briefly experiencing everything, everything. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Take a nice deep breath. Nice big Mayurma. Take your hands up. Nice big heart. Multiplied by infinity 3 times. And we say together, my you. All right, everybody, take rest. Continue your practice if you like. Be well.